In this video, I'm going to talk about the app's problem-solving tools and the importance of building consistency between what we're talking about at school and then what's going on at home in relation to problem solving. So the first thing is that these are really consistent across the school. You'll find this model in prep classrooms, foundation classrooms, right through to 5-6 and everywhere in between. And the reason we come up with them was to assist students when they're working on problems that they can't solve immediately. Obviously, things like 5+3, they can just work through by using their knowledge and fluency in mathematics. But when we have problems that we don't necessarily find an answer to straight away, we need to equip our students, whether it's at school or at home, with strategies that they're going to be able to use to work through that problem. The first one is finding a pattern, and that's as simple as it sounds. So in prep to 2, it might look like spoon, fork, and we can predict what the 10th thing in the row might be without necessarily seeing them. And in older years, it might be the first answer was 1, the next answer was 3, the next answer was 5. I can predict that the one after that will be 7. I can also predict what the 10th term in the pattern might be. Working backwards is usually we use that to check our work. So if 10 plus 5 was 15, I can do 15 take away 5 would be 10. So breaking a problem up, as students get older, the problems tend to have more than one step. So what students can do is to break it up into different steps so that they can solve one at a time and find an answer that way. Drawing a diagram is a really popular one. When students are working through something, this could be happening in prep right through to 5-6, and it helps develop understanding. So if we've got 5+3, we could draw 5 counters and draw 3 counters and add them up that way. And as students get older, they're looking at breaking bigger numbers up into different amounts, whether they are doing division. And the other day we had students who drew a escape plan for a jail break based on how often the lights are turning on. Making a table is similar to finding a pattern. It's just a way of organising a pattern that we may have. And you'll see this more in older grades as students are kind of organising their patterns a bit more. Writing an equation is as obvious as it sounds, where if students are a bit unsure about what the question's asking them, they can just break it down and come up with an equation that kind of fits with what the question's asking them. Using concrete materials is, again, obvious. At school, that looks like using thousands, hundreds, tens and ones to help understand the value of numbers that we're working with. And at home, you can use the same kind of things. I've heard of people having a loaf of bread, a slice of bread and crumbs of bread. And any language that you're using at home that is consistent with this is going to be really beneficial to what we're working on at school and what your kids are working on at home. I've left trial and error for last because trial and error is the one that we see coming up for students the most often. And we feel like it's one of the more important maths problem-solving tools because we really want to use it to assist our students to build academic resilience. So in mathematics, trial and error, we have to try something and it may not necessarily be right first time. This isn't a problem-solving strategy that we might see when we're doing just a process-based mathematics like 17 times 4. But when questions start getting more challenging, where we've got an answer and we need to know what numbers may make up that answer. We can't be sure straight away, so we've got to try different things. So the students might, I tried 10, it was too big. I tried 4, it was too small. So I'm going to try in between. And getting it wrong is a really important part of that process. And for when you're working with kids at home, whether it's on their maths homework or whether it's making a cake or rearranging furniture in their bedroom, you're not necessarily going to get it right straight away. And the response we want to have in our students is that they just accept it. Yep, that wasn't right. What can I do? What can we change? What can I work on to make it different and better for next time?